Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. It is Thursday, December 5th, 2013. I'm Leanne McAdoo, and here's what's coming up tonight.
Tonight, in a clear case of buyer's remorse, most under 25 favor throwing Obama out of office. Then, do protesters for a rise in wages really understand why they're getting poorer? And Obama turns to crowdsourcing contests to develop his propaganda. All that and more on tonight's INFOWARS Nightly News.
Bubbling, Affordable Care Act. Don't worry about the price tag.
So I'm going to need you all to spread the word about how the Affordable Care Act really works. If you're a student body president, set up a conference on campus. If you work at a nonprofit, open your doors and use your email list to help people learn the facts. If you've got a radio show, spread the word on air. If you're a bartender, have a happy hour. Post something on your Facebook or Instagram. You can tweet using the hashtag #GetCovered. Do whatever it takes to make sure people have the information they need to make the decision that's right for them.
That was President Obama speaking to a group of young millennial activists at the White House. This is all part of a 3-week push to get people back to the exchanges. And of course, the most important people that they need to sign up in order to make the Affordable Care Act work are the young and healthy. And that's why the Obama administration has spent so much money trying to propagate to the youth via Funny or Die campaigns. Hollywood has included health insurance subplots in their TV shows, and the DHS even put out a music contest to encourage young people to produce pro-Obamacare music videos, and they've finally picked a winner.
Don't need a lot of money to stay young and healthy. We just want to make it more fair with affordable health care. Ain't about the cha-ching, ain't about the, bling, Affordable Care Act. Don't worry about the price tag.
That's right. The winner of that music video is encouraging her peers to just forget about the price tag of the Affordable Care Act and just sign up. It's not a joke. Never mind that you are probably facing insurmountable student loan debt and you probably can't get a job once you graduate. Just pay it and shut up. Now, Obama probably thought that that cute girl with the great voice was going to give him a little street cred and an edge in the race to get millennials back onto the exchanges. But that might prove to be an uphill battle for the president because recent polls are showing that young people are abandoning Obamacare and his signature achievement. The most startling finding of Harvard University's Institute of Politics, a majority of Americans under age 25 would favor throwing Obama out of office. The survey was part of a unique 13-year study of the attitudes of young adults, and it finds that America's rising generation is worried about its future, disillusioned with the U.S. political system, strongly opposed to the government's domestic surveillance apparatus, and drifting away from both major parties. Young Americans hold the president, Congress, and the federal government in less esteem almost by the day. And that actually sounds like just what's needed in this country to get the youth to start a revolution. And with that being said, of course, that's why the Obama administration is encouraging his youth brigade to get out there and propagandize to the youth. And a young liberal group is doing just that.
Think again. Katniss's father was killed in a mining accident. If he had union protection, that never would have happened. In the wake of her husband's death, Katniss's mom had no access to therapy and fell into a deep depression, which cost her her job, causing the family to starve because the Capitol provides no food stamps. Like it or not, the Hunger Games are real. President Snow's 1% wants to cut life-saving programs while using their glamour to distract us.
The Harry Potter Alliance is a group that's trying to push a progressive agenda by politicizing Hunger Games fans. Now, the campaign aims to inspire the youth to get off their phones and start a revolution by tackling issues of the 12 districts, such as healthcare access, homelessness, voting access, unemployment, and food security. that sounds legit. But the drive says that they're really trying to push the main theme of the Hunger Games, which is income inequality. Where have I heard that before?
But this increasing inequality is most pronounced in our country. The idea that so many children are born into poverty in the wealthiest nation on earth is heartbreaking enough. But the idea that a child may never be able to escape that poverty because she lacks a decent education or health care or a community that views her future as their own, that should offend all of us. And it should compel us to action. We are a better country than this.
Now, conservative fans of the books and films are saying that the alliance is willfully ignoring the real antagonist of that movie, which is the totalitarian government. They say by pushing Obama's message on income equality, they're missing the danger there, the real warning of having an Orwellian government that controls the food stamps and the access to health care and applies pressure on them via the good guy unions. So they're basically trying to get the youth to demand more government, more control. So, of course, that is all part of the New World Order master plan to dupe you into demanding more government control in the name of humanitarianism. So I am going to read a little excerpt from what could have inspired the Hunger Games. I know Alex Jones says this is what helped crystallize his awakening. None Dare Call It a Conspiracy by Gary Allen. We do sell this at the INFOWARS store. Says what we are witnessing is the communist tactic of pressure from above and pressure from below. The American middle class is being squeezed to death by a vice. We do see these young groups in the streets trying to be revolutionary groups, and virtually all members of these groups sincerely believe that they are fighting the establishment. In reality, they are an indispensable ally of the establishment in fastening socialism on all of us. The naive radicals think that under socialism, the people will run everything. Actually, it will be a clique of insiders in total control, consolidating and controlling all wealth. So there you can see that lovely diagram of the vice there. We've got the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers pressuring the middle class, and the unions and youth groups there are pressuring from below. So that's the trick. Don't be duped into that. All these youth groups are part of this effort, and they're totally helping the very establishment that they are trying to stop. But if you really want to stop income equality, you have to go to the root of the problem, and that's that our presidents keep shipping all of our jobs overseas with these trade agreements like NAFTA and the TPP that our beloved dictator is now trying to fast track. And if people don't cut this off before it gets even worse, I am afraid that those people that are out there fighting for income equality and to raise the minimum wage are just going to continue to find themselves in a Walmart economy.
Excuse me, sir. What brought you out here today?
I come here with the Workers' Defense Project in solidarity with the 5 for 15 campaign.
Do you think it may be more effective to maybe have these type of protests at the Federal Reserve?
Not instead, but in addition to this. I agree.
Shikari, ask him if he knows anything about the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Sir, have you ever heard of the Trans-Pacific Partnership?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, as someone I'm from Mexico, and seeing how the NAFTA devastated our country, I just am really terrified about how it's Trans-Pacific.
Glad you brought up NAFTA, because a lot of people don't know about this NAFTA thing, the NAFTA superhighway. GMOs, do you think GMOs is maybe affecting things?
In a big way. I personally, I'm not a scientist. I didn't study it, but I've done a little research on the web and looked some stuff up, and apparently they're very bad for you.
Some very educated people. It's happy to see, guys know about GMO, guys that know about the NAFTA superhighway and things such as that. These aren't just people looking for more money. They're interested in things like the Federal Reserve. They're interested in things like healthier food. So hopefully, these guys can get a raise, but also hopefully we can get these guys outside of a Federal Reserve building.
And if you need any more proof of what the establishment thinks of your little millennial revolution, just ask 10-year-old Johnny Jones. He was suspended from school and threatened with expulsion for firing a make-believe arrow at a classmate. Johnny found himself in trouble after violating the school's zero-tolerance policy on weapons by miming the action of shooting an arrow from a bow using only his hands. So we can call for a Katniss-led revolution. Just don't act like her. So forget what you have heard about aspartame. Now it's good for you, according to this really pathetic excuse for a test study. Human guinea pigs were fed snack bars, some of which contained the sweetener and some that didn't. The study recruited 50 people who had reported reactions in the past after consuming aspartame. The investigation found that no evidence of harm in either of those groups. So that prompted the Food Standards Agency to announce that as a result of the British research, the Committee on Toxicity had decided there is no need to ban or control the sale or consumption of the sweetener, saying the expert committee concluded that the results presented did not indicate any need for action to protect the health of the public. And despite concluding that there is no reason to protect consumers, the FSA said that the committee had not actually carried out an overall safety evaluation of aspartame. So there you go. As long as your studies do not support the Monsanto produced aspartame, then they're just going to throw your studies out. But if they do, then they're not even overall safely tested, those results will stand. Much like those GMO corn studies that they did with those rats that had all the tumors, those are now having to be retracted as well. And that is, of course, in contrast to what other studies have found, like this one a citizen scientist conducted over the course of 2.5 years, and she observed that 67% of her female rats developed tumors the size of golf balls or greater, and 23% of the males in that study developed tumors as well. Those results, of course, coincide with the complaints that the FDA receives, which are registered mainly with 77% of those complaints being female. So, of course, any test that doesn't promote aspartame or GMO, both of which are linked to Monsanto, by the way, anything that's going to say that those are bad for you and that they're not safe to consume, those tests are invalid. But Monsanto, of course, using those same rats, their test was accepted to show the safety of GMOs, even though the rats were only tested for 90 days. All right, well, stick around because after the break, David Knight sits down with Mike Maharrey of the 10th Amendment Center. And then, of course, as always, we've got some goodies after the show. John Bound has a special report, and we've got an oldie but goodie from the vault with Alex Jones.